I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Hello, fellow collectors. This is Klutzy Joe coming at you with yet another review, and this time we're looking into the ever so popular 1/12 scale Michael Myers. Now, this Michael Myers is actually pretty cool. I end up digging him a lot. He is based off of the 1978 film, and he is just coming out in such beautiful glory. Anyway, so let's just look at the likeness real quick. Now, let me just fold the knees, and as you get to see, this is a very beautiful figure. I'm really digging how is that they made the mask. Some people have actually said that it came out a little too clean. I said that it really depends on the lighting that you end up using. I don't end up having any issues with how is it that he came out and the mask came out clean. I guess it really all depends on what lighting is it that you're gonna put it on. What's the exposure that he's gonna have. But me personally, I end up loving this. Now, as you get to see, from the glistening eyes on over to the skin tone that almost looks like if there is like if Michael Myers hasn't necessarily slept, it does end up looking like he is just beautiful. There's just no way to actually say that this is not getting the likeness of Michael Myers, at least from the original movie. If we were to put it in a side-by-side comparison, I think the only thing that I do end up having right here, I could end up getting it for reference, would actually be the Myers that comes out right there. So again, it really all depends on the lighting. And I will end up having some shots so that I get to more or less try to recreate how is it that he looks. But yeah, this guy actually looks pretty perfect. It looks like a miniature Hot Toys, and that's something that everybody ends up saying on the collecting community when it comes down to 112s. But with this one, they actually did end up doing it. So it lives up to that moniker. So anyways, aside from this figure, let's just look at the accessories that he ended up coming up with. Now, the first thing that I really do wanted to emphasize is on this tombstone, the gravestone of Judith Myers, born November 10th, 1947, and died October 31st, 1963. Our beloved daughter, Judith Myers. This thing is very beautiful. It's very detailed. And the one thing that I do end up loving is that it's actually made out of polystone, which for anybody that's actually asking, it would be kind of like tile flooring. That's more or less what you end up getting. So it's very beautiful. It's very heavy. It's very girthy. And more importantly, you just get to see the details out of it right here. It is very nice. The paint apps are actually real nice and on par. I really do end up loving it. Now, if you want to compare it to the Mezco One, you know, the Mezco One ended up coming out with a little, it came out plastic and all that stuff, and it doesn't end up having the aged effect that we get to see on the Mezco One, but it does end up coming out real nice, as it is also. And I also do end up loving that it doesn't, the Mezco One actually ends up having this little stance right here, and it's bigger, you know, so that's another thing. However, if you really want to if you really want to talk about quality, well, Mezco, you just can't beat. Now, aside from that, we also end up getting a pumpkin, which, I gotta tell you guys, it was a pain to actually install the batteries, which did not come installed, and I had to try to open the little flap right here, and as you get to see, it's actually missing a screw. That is because the screw actually fell off while I was actually installing the battery. I am not going to open that. You know what? Might as well just screw it. You know what? And there you go. So it's very, very small. It's a drag to actually try to connect them. I do end up saying that if you end up having like a little screw or something, a flat screw, it would be a lot more easier. And sorry about that. Again, Klutzy Joe lives up to his name, right? But the beautiful part about it is not just that this thing lights up, it's how strong this thing lights up. Now, what right here you get to see that it is just nice. And obviously I'm actually gonna have some footage after that'll show you the brightness out of this one. And I'm really digging how is it that it's actually flickering right there. It's you can kind of see it. There we go. Very nice, very nice. And I do end up liking this. The little flapper, I mean the little switch is in here, and it is very, very small. So do be careful with that thing. I do end up liking how is NECA actually did theirs. Now I had to pop open this one because I did not like how is it that the light was actually how it was shining. But again, this is not a comparison video. The only thing that I can say is that the little push button mechanism that NECA ends up having, in many ways I can actually say that it's more preferable. And as you get to see, that one flickers too. Kinda see it. Again, I'll show you guys video footage about that one, but it is very dim. It might be because of the lighting. I mean, it might be because of the paper or anything. I'm just barely starting with this kind of stuff. So, I mean, all apologies aside, but you do end up getting to see that the likeness is right there from the movie. And again, let me just show you guys. I don't even know why is it that I put this thing away. You know what? I'll just show you guys an image right here on this side, so you guys get to see that yeah, the likeness is just right there. It's very beautiful. I actually like that. Now aside from that, he also wants to come in with a little the plastic baggie, which is actually synonymous with Mezco. He also wants to come in with this beautiful stand, which it's very scratch prone, so I do not plan to actually have Michael actually standing on this. But it does end up looking real nice. The detail right here is actually pretty cool. I like how is it that they're actually starting to put some more detail onto these things than, you know, just the vanilla little Halloween logo, which I thought that was what was going to happen. But no, it actually recreates the movie cover real nice. Anyways, also comes with the traditional little stand. And he ends up coming right off the package. He ends up coming with fists. And, they're actually pretty cool. I like that. Now, switching the hands is no problem. You could just end up taking one off and putting another one. I think that we'll just end up putting a relaxed hand. You know, an outstretched hand. Now, this one I haven't necessarily put on him before, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's a first. Now, as I said, it was a cinch actually putting it on. There was no problem whatsoever. It is not something that I would actually be worried about because of the little pin breaking, which I have actually had that fear with a lot of the Mezco figures. Now, aside from that, let's just look at the hands real up and close. He does end up coming with, like I said, a pair of outstretched hands. And they're very detailed. They do end up showing that they end up having dirt underneath the nails. And around the hands, there's little splatters here and there of dirt, or you could call it blood. I mean, it really doesn't matter. And these are the choking hands, or it could be the other ones. You know what? It really doesn't necessarily matter. But I think that these actually do end up going a lot more for the choking hands. And again, you get to see that the nail is right there. They're all dirty. The fist that I just take away. So it's very nice and detailed, even on the thumb, as you get to see. And he also ends up coming with the knife holding hands, which I took the liberty of actually putting the knives on. Now, the hand on the right side is for the upward knife holding hand. It's basically the upward knife holding hand, and again, you get to see the detail of the nails. The knife itself, actually, the knives themselves, they end up having some real good detail onto them. I like how that they end up looking. Alright, and the one on the left is a downward stabby kind of hand. So, I mean, I did end up picking the right knife for this one. And again, the details is just superb. But you get to see that the knife ends up having a little the blood on it. And it's very nice. I mean, as you get to see, there's little glossy parts right here and there along with the rest. So it's actually looking very, very stained, very nice. Very cool looking figure. Now, aside from all those, he also, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. I can't leave you like that. Let me just put this on right here in front of everybody. You know what? Now, aside from that, the one thing that I do end up loving that this guy came with is the ghost head that he actually it's actually become very traditional. They've even used it on the 2018. They've used it on the Rob Zombie remake. They've used it on the original one, and it is very nice. I do end up liking that. In this one, you get to see that inside. You get to see Michael Myers' eyes. Although, sometimes depending on the place, I mean, he does end up looking a little... But aside from that, I mean, it's actually looking pretty cool. Now, I will tell you guys, I advise you, just like everybody else has, if you look at the other reviews, like The Amazing, Book Nice, and so many others, do not take away the glasses. Do not try to bend it out or anything like that. Try to be very careful with that or pull it out with the glasses, because the moment that these things come off, you will never put them back on. It is just that hard. However, switching the heads, it's actually pretty easy. There we go. And it's really just as to how is it that you actually do it. Now, for me, I just end up putting it on over from the sides. Just get it, switch it. And on this one, you are going to have to put the collar down. You know, that's like the best advice that I could give you guys on this. So, let me just put the... There we go. The collar is down. And now I can just slip this thing in there. Which, it's very easy. I don't know why is it that a lot of people actually say that it is very hard. Just align this thing, put it in the center, and the rest is just like your normal head. And there, you see, you even get let me see. Let me just this is embarrassing. Okay, all you have to do is just align it from the hole on over to this thing, and the rest will take care of itself. I am having some trouble right now, which I haven't had in the past, but okay, either way, I can say that this figure is actually hating on me. And there we go. You get to hear that beautiful snap, and just look at this thing. It is looking very beautiful. I think that this was one of the biggest selling points for the Michael Myers figure. Now, I like how it looks. A lot of people don't like that the sheet covers are actually are glued on over to the bottom part of the plastic. What I did is that I kind of separated a little bit, and what that does is that now it could move a little bit more freely, and you know, just pose Michael Myers with the arms open, and there we go. It just looks a lot more better. In my eyes, it's a very, very beautiful figure like this as well. So I like it. Anyways, let's take this thing off. Taking it off, do end up getting it from the little plastic flap and just pull it up. And there we go. Again, try to be very careful with the glasses. So, this is the only thing that I did end up having a gripe with was on the head part. And that is how is the neck and the head are just one piece. But it doesn't necessarily bother me anymore. Because, well, you still end up getting all the mobility. So that brings me up to articulation. He's able to look up that much. He's able to look down that much. Hold on, let me just fix this for you guys. Anyways, there we go. His arms are able to open up about that much. Still haven't broken this guy in, you guys. So, yeah. And they're able to close down. His arms are able to go up that much, which is actually pretty cool. You know, for the stabbing motion, that's actually real nice. Now, the other issue that I do end up having is the arms. These arms are basically just they are single jointed. So I really would have loved it if it would have ended up having a double jointed, because that would have helped out with the stabbing motion. But it is real nice. It is on a swivel right here, on the inside. So it's actually real nice. For ab articulation, well, his chest is able to go down like that, and his abs are able to go down a little bit more. So you do get a real good range of downward motion. And if you put it with the feet, with the legs, he's actually even able to sit up like he did in the movie. So I'm digging this. Now, going back, he doesn't go back that much. At least on my part. I know that there might have been other reviewers that they might have pushed him a little bit more, but that's about as far as I'm comfortable with actually putting him away. And his kicks are actually, they can go up about that much. The knees are double jointed, so thank God on that part. That's actually pretty cool. He's able to open up about that much. You don't want to push it anymore because of the seams. You don't want to rip that up. So, yeah. He's able to kick back about that much. And he does end up having very cool toe pivot and ankle. His ankle is able to go up and down. It's a very nice. You can actually be able to put them in very good poses. Overall, this figure is actually pretty cool. However, I did, if you look at the header, I did end up saying that there was something that was custom, right? And you guys would be asking yourselves, well, what would be custom about this figure if he ends up having everything official and there's no messing up with this one? Well, here's a custom thing. This head came with the NECA Michael Myers, and I just wanted to end up switching the heads. Now, it may actually seem a little bit more bigger, but if in actuality, I actually measured them, and the only thing different is that this one's neck, the chin is actually more outstretched, so that's the only thing different. But other than that, everything is relatively about the same. I know what you're saying. I know what you might be saying is that the heads, they don't end up adding up all that well. Well, latex does end up having a form of stretching out over time. And that's where I'm actually going with. This is supposed to be an older version of this one, and yeah, that works. So what I did was that I ended up all I did was just put some glue on over to this from a heat gun, from a glue gun. And just carve out the little part on the inside. And you can just pop this in. No problem whatsoever. Let's see. And there. And it looks alright. You know what? I actually dig it. Looks real cool. Anyways, size comparison time. Alright, let me just move these things on over to one side. For a size comparison, I do end up having his NECA counterpart. And his NECA counterpart is just huge in comparison. Alright. The only reason why that I think that the heads actually do end up fitting is because, well, the head looks very small on the NECA one. It fits, it looks good, but I don't see a problem with this one at all. Probably, now that I think about it, I probably should have done it with this head, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's a height difference between the NECA one and the Mezco one. Alright, I do also end up having another Mezco figure, which is my custom Spawn action figure, which I do end up loving. Thank you, VLS Customs, for making such an awesome figure. And as you get to see, it's not much of a big height difference. You can, well, one could argue that the Michael Myers figure is actually taller than this one. This one was originally based off of the Daredevil figure, so yeah. And for all you Marvel Legends enthusiasts, here he is standing next to Marvel Legends Punisher. And let me just straighten this guy out, because he was just basically standing in that super awesome gun pose. So, height-wise, he is still taller than the traditional Marvel Legends figures, and I do end up loving the size of this guy. He's actually pretty cool. I dig it. I love it, especially coming from from the Halloween movie franchise. I just end up loving it. And you know what? If you're trying to pick this guy up, I will end up saying this: be very careful. don't overpay too much out of it. I do end up thinking that this thing is actually worth the $100 to $150 that some people might end up asking, but try to pick it up as soon as you can, because this thing is going to go up in price. And there was only like about a couple months ago that it has been released, and it's already starting to look at prices that are like $150, $160. And if this continues by Halloween, right now I'm on March. By Halloween, this thing is actually going to hit the $200 mark because of how great it was. Anyways, this has been Klutzy Joe. I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. Peace. Man of my word, and it's showing you guys. This thing actually looks real cool. This is the original the Mezco pumpkin, and it's actually looking real cool. It's looking real nice. I dig this. And this is the Mezco One. As you get to see, the Mezco One, because I ended up putting that paper, it's actually looking a little bit more muted down. However, I had to do that. Otherwise, you would have just been looking at a little light bulb in there, because this thing is hollow. Either way, they both end up looking real cool. Klutzy Joe signing off right here.